Catharina Nina Hagen is a German singer and actress. Born in East Berlin, German Democratic Republic, Hagen first pursued her career in the mid-1970s. In 1974, she joined the band Automobil. During that time she appeared in a number of German movies. After moving to West Berlin in 1976, she formed the Nina Hagen Band and signed with CBS Records. The band released 2 albums before Hagen decided to pursue her career as a solo artist. In 1982, she signed a new contract with CBS Records and released her first solo album NunSexMonkRock. She released 2 more records on the label, the Giorgio Moroder-produced Fearless and Nina Hagen in Ekstasy. Her contract with the label expired in 1986 and was not renewed. However, she kept on touring, appearing on TV shows and remained very popular. In 1987, the single Punk Wedding was released and in 1988 Hagen wrote her autobiography Ich bin ein Berliner. By 1989, Mercury Records offered Hagen a new contract and she released Nina Hagen, an album more soulful than her previous work. She kept on releasing more albums and touring during the 1990s and 2000s. Hagen is often referred to as the godmother of punk. She is also noted for her human and animal rights activism. Early years: Nina Hagen was born in the former East Berlin, East Germany, the daughter of Hans Hagen, a scriptwriter, and Eva Maria Hagen, an actress and singer. Her paternal grandfather died in the Sachsenhausen concentration camp. Her parents divorced when she was 2 years old, and growing up she saw her father infrequently. At age 4, she began to study ballet, and was considered an opera prodigy by the time she was 9. When Hagen was 11, her mother married Wolf Biermann, an anti-establishment singer-songwriter. Biermann's political views later influenced young Hagen. Hagen left school at age 16, and went to Poland, where she began her career. After that, she returned to Germany and joined the cover band Fritzen's Damp Band, together with Achim Menzel and others. She added songs by Janis Joplin and Tina Turner to the allowable set lists during shows. From 1972 to 1973, Hagen enrolled in the Crash Course performance program at the Central Studio for Light Music in East Berlin. Upon graduation, she formed the band Automobil. Music career: 1970s, in East Germany, she performed with the band Automobil, becoming one of the country's best-known young stars. Her most famous song from the early part of her career was Du hast den Farb from Vergessen, a subtle dig mocking the sterile, grey, communist state, in 1974. Her musical career in the GDR was cut short, however, when she and her mother left the country in 1976, following the expulsion of her stepfather. The circumstances surrounding the family's emigration were exceptional. Biermann was granted permission to perform a televised concert in Cologne, but denied permission to recross the border to his adopted home country. Hagen submitted an application to leave the country. In it, she claimed to be Biermann's biological daughter, and threatened to become the next Wolf Biermann if not allowed to rejoin her father. Just 4 days later her request was granted, and she settled in Hamburg, where she was signed to a CBS-affiliated record label. Her label advised her to acclimatize herself to Western culture through travel, and she arrived in London during the height of the punk rock movement. Hagen was quickly taken up by a circle that included the Slits and Sex Pistols. Back in Germany by mid-1977, Hagen formed the Nina Hagen Band in West Berlin's Kreuzberg district. In 1978 they released their self-titled debut album, Nina Hagen Band, which included the single TV Glotze, and Auf am Bahnhof Zoo, about West Berlin's then notorious Berlin Zoologische Garten station. The album also included a version of Rein Jane, a song she had previously recorded in East Germany, but with different music. The debut album gained significant attention throughout Germany and abroad, both for its hard rock sound and for Hagen's theatrical vocals, far different from the straightforward singing of her East German recordings. However, relations between Hagen and the other band members deteriorated over the course of the subsequent European tour, and Hagen decided to leave the band in 1979, though she was still under contract to produce a second album. This LP, Unbegun, was eventually produced with the band recording their tracks in Berlin and Hagen recording the vocals in Los Angeles. It included the single African Reggae, and a cover of Lean Lovich's Lucky Number. The other band member Sans Hagen soon developed a successful independent musical career as Spliff. Meanwhile, Hagen's public persona was steadily creating media uproar. She became infamous for an appearance on an Austrian evening talk show called Club 2, on August 9, 1979, on the topic of youth culture, when she demonstrated various female masturbation positions and became embroiled in a heated argument with another panelist. The talk show host had to step down following this controversy. She also acted with Dutch rocker Herman Brood and singer Lean Lovich in the 1979 film Car, 1980s. A European tour with a new band in 1980 was cancelled, and Hagen turned to the United States. A limited edition 10-inch EP was released on vinyl that summer in the US. 2 songs from her first album Nina Hagen Band were on the A-side, and 2 songs from her second album Unbegun were on the B-side. All 4 songs were sung in German, although 2 had English titles and the other 2 were covers of English-language songs with new German lyrics. In late 1980, Hagen discovered she was pregnant, broke up with the father-to-be Ferdinand Kampk, and moved to Los Angeles. Her daughter, Kuzma Shiva Hagen, was born in Santa Monica on May 17, 1981. In 1982, Hagen released her first English-language album, NunSexMonkRock, a dissonant mix of punk, funk, reggae, and opera. She then went on a world tour with the No Problem Orchestra. In 1983, she released the album Ekstasy and a minor European tour. By this time, Hagen's public appearances were becoming stranger and frequently included discussions of God, UFOs, her social and political beliefs, animal rights and vivisection, and claims of alien sightings. The English version of Ekstasy, Fearless, generated 2 major club hits in America, Zara's song Ich Weiß, Is Word Ein Million Wonder Gestain and the disco opera song, New York, New York. During 1984 Hagen spent a lot of time in London and UK-based music scene magazine chief editor Wilfred Riemensberger, in conjunction with Spree Film, produced a first TV feature on her and what was remaining from London's 70s punk movement induced by artist and model Frankie Stein. Her 1985 album Ekstasy fared less well, but did generate club hits with Universal Radio, and a cover of Spirit in the Sky, and also featured a 1979 recording of her hardcore punk take on Paul Anka's My Way, which had been one of her signature live tunes in previous years. She performed songs from this album during the 1985 version of Rock in Rio. Wilfred Riemensberger and award-winning film director Lothar Spree produced a TV documentary for German television ZDF. This was followed by a launch of Nina's UFO fashion underwear at Anti-SAFT in Zurich, where again Riemensberger joined her up with new romantic icons Steve Strange performing on stage. Simultaneously fashion photographer Hans Schmidt produced a Nina Hagen cover for German Cosmopolitan magazine. This also coincided with leading music publications like Bravo and Music Scene running cover stories that all put Hagen back on the forefront of something that in retrospective became a final high point of what the punk movement was all about. At the end of 1986, her contract with CBS was over and she released the Punk Wedding EP independently in 1987, a celebration of her marriage to a 17-year-old punk nicknamed Iroquois. It followed an independent 1986 one-off single with Lean Lovich, Don't Kill the Animals. In 1989, Hagen released the album, Nina Hagen, which was backed up by another German tour. In 1989 she had a relationship with Frank Chevalier from France, with whom she has a son, Otis Chevalier Hagen. 1990s. In the 1990s, Hagen lived in Paris with her daughter Kuzma Shiva and son Otis. In 1991 she toured Europe in support of her new album Street. In 1992 Hagen became the host of a TV show on RTL+. Also in the same year she collaborated with Adamski on the European smash and minor UK hit single Get Your Body. The following year, she released Revolution Ballroom. In 1994, Hagen starred in the acclaimed San Francisco Gertrudenstütz's The Seven Addictions and Five Professions of Anita Berber, playing the singer version of Anita alongside dancer Jennifer Pyron, who portrayed the other professions of Anita. Also, her voice was heard on the Freaky Fucking Weirders single Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick. 1995 brought the German-language album Freud Youch appeared, recorded in English as Be Happy in 1996. Nina returned to San Francisco to star in another San Francisco Gertrudenstütz show, Hanusen, Hitler's Jewish Clairvoyant. Hagen also collaborated with electronic music composer Christopher Frank, along with Rick Palumbi on Alchemy of Love, the theme song for the film Tenkai Muo. In Love. In May 1996, she married David Lynn, who was 15 years younger, but divorced him in the beginning of 2000. In 1997 she collaborated with German hip-hop musician Thomas D. In 1998, Hagen became the host of a weekly science fiction show on the British Sci-Fi Channel, in addition to embarking on another tour of Germany. In 1999, she released the devotional album Namah Shivaya, which was distributed exclusively online and included an unadulterated musical version of the Hare Krishna mantra. She also provided vocals to Witness and Bo Wright on KMFDM's Adios. Also in 1998, she recorded the official club anthem for FC Union Berlin, and 4 versions were issued on a CD single by GIB Music and Distribution GmbH. In 1999, she played the role of Celia Peachum in the Threepenny Opera by Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht, alongside Max Raub. She also regularly performed songs by Kurt Weill, Hans Eisler and Paul Dessau set to Brecht's texts. 2000s. In 2000, her song Paragraph Ns Die Welt became the official song of Expo 2000. Another cover of Azara Leander's song Der Wind hat mir ein Lied zur Currency HLT was a minor hit the same year. The album Return of the Mother was released in February 2001, accompanied by another German tour. Hagen, a supporter of HIV/AIDS denialism, wrote the song Hand Grenade on the album Return of the Mother for the controversial HIV/AIDS denialist Christine Magyar. In 2001 she collaborated with Rosenstolz and Mark Armand on the single Total Eclipse/Die Schwarzwietwe that reached no. 22 in Germany. On October 14, 2002 Nina hit Moscow by coming there with her concert, while interviews with the eccentric singer were aired on many TV channels. Hagen dubbed the voice of Sally in the German release of Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, and she has also done voice work on the movie Hot Dogs by Michael Sherman. Hagen has been featured on songs by other bands, for instance on Oomph!'s song Fieber. She did a cover of Rammstein's Seaman with Apocalyptica. Later albums include Big Band Explosion, in which she sang numerous swing covers with her then-husband, Danish singer and performer, Lucas Alexander. This was followed by Air a greatest hits album. The following album, Journey to the Snow Queen, is more of an audiobook. She reads the Snow Queen fairy tale with Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker in the background. In 2005 Nina Hagen headlined the Drop Dead Festival in New York City. Hagen has been an active protester against the war in Iraq. In 2006 she was a part of the Pop Stars team. She is a vegetarian. In August 2009 she was baptized in the Protestant Reformed Church of Shawan Quarter TTORF. On October 21 after 7 years passed she visited Moscow again. After a 4-year lapse her next album, Personal Jesus, was released July 16, 2010, followed by Volksbeat, released November 11, 2011. Discography: Nina Hagen Band, Unbegin, NunSexMonkRock, Fearless/Ekstasy, Nina Hagen in Ekstasy/In Ekstase, Nina Hagen, Street, Revolution Ballroom, Freud Youch/Be Happy, Om Namah Shivaya, Return of the Mother, Big Band Explosion, Irgendwo auf der Welt, Personal Jesus, Volksbeat, Acting Career, Filmography, References. External links: Nina Hagen Mother of Punk, Selten Live Video Aufnahmen von Nina Hagen Discography, Nina Hagen Electronic Shrine, Trouser Press Nina Hagen Discography, Nina Hagen, MySpace page, Nina Hagen on Europop Music U, Nina Hagen at the Internet Movie Database, Nina Hagen, interview, Nina Hagen vertroopt Wissenschaftleros Talkshow Meshbga, Drop Dead magazine with issue 0 with Nina Hagen on the cover as well as a large interview inside, 1979 Club 2 talk show with loose translation in More Info, 1979 Club 2 talk show short clip, Nina Hagen interviewed on Swedish TV during the 80s, a video interview with Nina Hagen in English made in 1984, elect.